Now is Congressman Raja Krishnamoorthi of Illinois. He's a member of the Intelligence Committee. Congressman, thank you very much for joining us. What's your reaction to the ODNI statement?
I'm glad that they provided additional information, but the way that it was structured, it makes it look like all three countries have equal capabilities, are undertaking equal amounts of effort to interfere in our elections. And without going into specific details about the intelligence I've seen, that's not what we see in the intelligence. And so I'm hopeful that the ODNI continues to provide more information so that members of Congress, as well as the public and the American people, can protect against further interference in this election.
What is Congress doing or planning to do to act on this?
Well, we're going to continue to talk to the agencies in the intelligence community that have direct factual knowledge about current efforts and continue to make sure that they do everything they can to police against what's happening. But in addition, Katie, we have to make sure that our social media platforms are safeguarded from disinformation efforts by these powers and others. And we have to provide vital election security assistance to the states and local jurisdictions that are conducting these elections. You asked a minute ago about whether our election infrastructure is safe from attack. Well, I'm sitting here in Illinois, and back in 2016, unfortunately, the Russians performed a successful phishing effort on our databases with regard to our voter rolls. And so this is something that is of grave concern coming up in the elections of 2020, and we have to do whatever we can to protect against this type of interference from happening again.
On the congressional negotiations for another relief bill, things are stalled. It doesn't seem like there's any end in sight or any compromise in sight. What are you hearing?
I'm not hearing differently than what you heard. I am hearing that Speaker Pelosi is making strong efforts to compromise. I think that she went in with another offer today with regard to the size of the package that we would like to see. However, it was not met with an acceptable response from the other side. Quite frankly, Katie, it's not clear that the other side even wants to do a deal. Leader McConnell has said that he might not even be able to deliver 20 votes from his caucus for any deal or any spending of any kind. And so when you have that type of situation, it's very, very difficult to get to a deal. I just had a teletown hall meeting on Tuesday where 2,000 people were on the line, and the vast majority of the callers, Katie, were telling me that they lost their jobs, their businesses had lost almost all their revenue, and they desperately, desperately want a stimulus deal now.
Let's talk about the Evaluate Act, which you introduced yesterday. That is asking for oversight, congressional oversight over any vaccines that are developed. What are you looking for?
Well, we all want a vaccine ASAP, but it has to be safe and effective, and the American people have to trust it. It turns out there is an outside advisory committee that's already been set up by the FDA that's been around for 40 years that we are proposing as part of this legislation must be consulted for purposes of vetting and approving a vaccine. And the reason is to make sure that that vaccine is safe and effective and that the American people trust it. Because if they don't, then not enough people will get vaccinated to achieve herd immunity, Katie.
Congressman Raja Krishnamoorthi, thank you so much for joining us, sir. We appreciate all of your time. And